Story 1. I've been working at Fresh Mart for 2 years now, ever since I graduated high school and decided to take a gap year before college. What started as a temporary job to save money for tuition turned into something longer when my dad got laid off and I needed to help with family expenses. The grocery store work isn't glamorous, but it pays the bills and my manager is decent enough to work around my community college classes. Most days in the meat department are pretty routine. I help customers find what they need, answer questions about cuts of beef, and keep the display cases stocked and clean. Sure, we get the occasional complaint about prices or someone wanting us to trim fat off their steaks, but nothing too crazy. At least, that was true until last Saturday. It was around 3 p.m. when she walked into my section. Middle-aged woman with that particular haircut and an oversized purse clutched like a weapon. She made a beeline for our premium steak display, the expensive stuff we keep behind glass. "Karen, excuse me, I need 10 ribeye steaks for my dinner party tonight." Me, absolutely, those are some beautiful cuts. They're $24.99 per pound today. Karen, perfect, and with your buy one get one sale, that'll be half price. I looked at her confused. We did have a buy one get one promotion running, but it was only for chicken breast and ground turkey. Me, I'm sorry, but the sale is just for select poultry items. The ribeye steaks are regular price. Karen, that's ridiculous. The sign says buy one get one free on meat products. She pointed aggressively toward the sale banner hanging above the chicken section. Me, if you look closer, ma'am, it specifies chicken breast and ground turkey only. The ribeye steaks aren't part of this promotion. Karen, that's false advertising. Steak is meat. Chicken is meat. It should all be the same. Me, I understand the confusion, but different products have different promotions. I'd be happy to show you some other cuts that might be on sale. Karen, no, I want my ribeye steaks, and I want them buy one get one free like your sign promises. I could see this was escalating quickly, so I decided to call my supervisor over. Me, let me get my manager. He can explain the sale details better than I can. My manager walked over with that patient smile he reserves for difficult customers. Manager, how can I help you today? Karen, your employee here is trying to scam me. Your sign clearly says buy one get one on meat, and he's refusing to honor it for steak. Manager, I can see the confusion, but our promotion is specifically for chicken breast and ground turkey. The ribeye steaks aren't included in any current sales. Karen, this is outrageous. I'm calling corporate. I'm calling the Better Business Bureau. This is fraud. Manager, ma'am, I understand you're frustrated, but the sale terms are clearly posted. Is there anything else I can help you with today? That's when she completely lost it. Without warning, Karen marched over to the refrigerated meat case and started grabbing packages of ribeye steaks. Karen, fine. If you won't honor your sale, then I'll take them for free. She ripped open the first package, and raw steak went flying across the floor. Karen, it's free now. You can't sell damaged merchandise. Manager, ma'am, you need to stop this immediately. But she wasn't stopping. She grabbed another package and tore it open, flinging expensive cuts of meat across the department like some kind of deranged food fight. Karen, free meat for everyone, since you won't honor your promises. Other customers were backing away in shock as Karen continued her rampage. She had opened 4 packages by the time my manager got on his radio. Manager, security to meat department immediately, and call the police. Karen, you can't arrest me for taking advantage of your false advertising. Me, ma'am, please stop. You're destroying hundreds of dollars worth of product. Karen, good. Maybe next time you'll think twice before lying to customers. She grabbed one more package and was about to tear it open when our security guard arrived. Security, ma'am, I need you to put that down and step away from the merchandise. Karen, I'm not doing anything wrong. These people are scammers. By now, there were chunks of raw ribeye steak scattered across the floor, the smell of raw meat filling the air. Other customers were staring in disbelief, some filming with their phones. The police arrived about 10 minutes later. Karen was still ranting about false advertising and demanding to speak to the district manager when they cuffed her. "Officer, ma'am, you're under arrest for destruction of property and disturbing the peace." "Karen, this is harassment. I'm the victim here." As they led her away, my manager surveyed the damage. 4 packages of premium ribeye steak, totaling over $200, were completely ruined and scattered across the floor. Manager, well, that's a first. Me, what happens now? Manager, she's banned from this store, obviously. But I'm also sending her photo and incident report to every Fresh Mart location in the state. She won't be shopping with us anywhere. It took us an hour to clean up all the raw meat and sanitize the entire section. We had to throw away even more product that might have been contaminated by the meat on the floor. The next week, my manager showed me an email from corporate. Karen had indeed been banned from all 47 Fresh Mart locations across 3 states. Apparently, she had tried to shop at 2 other stores and caused scenes there too when they recognized her photo. I still work in the meat department, and I still deal with difficult customers sometimes. But now, whenever someone starts getting aggressive about prices or sales, I just remember the woman who thought throwing steak on the floor would somehow prove her point. It makes the regular complaints seem pretty manageable in comparison. Story 2. I work part-time at a movie theater to help pay for college. It's usually pretty boring cleaning theaters, refilling popcorn machines, and dealing with the occasional complaint about ticket prices. But last Saturday night, I witnessed something that still makes me shake my head. I'd been working at the theater for about 8 months, mostly doing cleanup between showings and helping with crowd control during busy weekends. Saturday nights are always chaotic since that's when families come out for the latest blockbuster movies. I was assigned to Theater 7 that night, where they were showing the new superhero movie every 2 hours starting at 6 p.m. The 8 p.m. showing had just started, and I was doing my usual walkthrough to make sure everything was running smoothly. The theater was packed, almost every seat filled with families, couples, and groups of friends. About 10 minutes into the movie, during one of the quieter dialogue scenes, I heard shouting from the middle section. A woman was standing in the aisle, pointing at a family of 4 sitting in the center row. Even in the dim light from the screen, I could see she was furious. The family looked confused and scared. The 2 kids, who couldn't have been older than 8, were shrinking back in their seats. "Karen, get out of my seats right now. Those are mine." "Father, ma'am, we bought these tickets online this morning. These are definitely our seats." He pulled out his phone to show his mobile tickets, but she wasn't interested in looking. "Karen, I don't care what your phone says. I reserved these exact seats for tonight's movie." People around them were starting to shush her and point at the screen, but she ignored them completely. I walked down the aisle toward them, hoping to resolve whatever confusion there was quietly. "Excuse me, ma'am, is there a problem with your seating?" "Karen, yes, there's a huge problem. This family is in my seats, and they won't move." "Can I see your ticket, please?" She shoved her phone in my face, and I had to squint to read the screen. When I saw the showtime, I understood the problem immediately. "Ma'am, this ticket is for the 10 p.m. showing. This is the 8 p.m. showing." "Karen, so what? These are still my seats." I understand, but this family has tickets for this specific showtime. Your seats will be available for the 10 p.m. showing." The father looked relieved and showed me his tickets on his phone. They were definitely for the 8 p.m. showing, seats G14 through G17. Karen's tickets were for the same seat numbers, but 2 hours later. "Karen, I'm not waiting until 10 p.m. I want to see the movie now." "I'm sorry, but you can't use tickets for a different showtime. You'll need to either wait for your showing, or we can try to get you a refund." "Mother, kids, it's okay. The nice lady just made a mistake." That's when Karen completely lost it. "Karen, mistake? I didn't make any mistake. You people are stealing my seats." She reached over and grabbed the large bucket of popcorn that was sitting in the cup holder next to the youngest kid, a little girl who couldn't have been more than 6 years old. "Father, hey, what are you doing?" Before anyone could stop her, Karen dumped the entire bucket of popcorn over both children. Kernels went everywhere in their hair, on their clothes, all over the floor. The little girl started crying immediately. "Little girl, Daddy, why did she do that?" The entire theater erupted. People were shouting at Karen, several stood up from their seats, and someone yelled for security. I immediately radioed for backup while trying to position myself between Karen and the family. "Me, security to Theater 7 immediately. We have a situation." "Karen, they deserved it. Maybe now they'll move." "Father, you just assaulted my children. I'm calling the police." He pulled out his phone while his wife tried to comfort their kids and brush popcorn out of their hair. Other moviegoers were offering napkins and wet wipes to help clean up the mess. "Karen, go ahead and call the police. I'll tell them how this family stole my seats." Within 30 seconds, my manager arrived with 2 security guards. The shouting and commotion had made it impossible for anyone to focus on the movie. "Manager, what's going on here?" "Me. This woman dumped popcorn on these children because she thought they were in her seats. Her tickets are for the 10 p.m. showing." "Manager, ma'am, I'm going to need you to come with us." "Karen, I'm not going anywhere. I paid for these seats." "Security guard, you need to leave the theater immediately. You cannot assault customers, especially children." "Karen, it's not assault, it's just popcorn." The manager signaled to the projection booth, and suddenly the movie stopped and the lights came on. Everyone in the theater could now see Karen clearly, covered in popcorn herself, standing next to the crying children she had just attacked. "Manager, ladies and gentlemen, I apologize for the interruption. We're removing a disruptive customer and will restart the film in just a moment." The entire theater started clapping and cheering as the security guards took Karen by the arms. She was still screaming as they escorted her toward the exit. "Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm never coming back here." "Random moviegoer, good, don't come back." "Another person, leave those kids alone." As they dragged her up the aisle, Karen was still shouting about how unfair it all was. The father had indeed called the police, and I could see officers waiting in the lobby as the security guards brought her out. After Karen was removed, my manager made sure the family was okay and offered them free concessions for the rest of the night. He also started the movie over from the beginning since everyone had missed the first 15 minutes because of the disruption. "Father, thank you so much for handling that. I've never seen anything like it." "Manager, I'm so sorry your family had to experience that. Some people just can't accept when they make mistakes." The rest of the movie went smoothly, and the family seemed to enjoy themselves despite the awful start to their evening. When I cleaned the theater after the show, I was still finding popcorn kernels everywhere. I found out later that Karen was banned from our theater chain permanently and faced charges for disturbing the peace and assault, all because she couldn't admit she had tickets for the wrong showtime. Story 3. I've been running my small organic farm for about 5 years now, ever since I lost my corporate job and decided to completely change my life. It wasn't easy starting over at 35, but my wife supported me through the transition. She kept her job as a school teacher while I learned everything about sustainable farming from scratch. The farmers market became our main source of income, and every Saturday we'd set up our little stand selling the fruits and vegetables we'd grown with our own hands. My wife handles most of the customer interactions because she's naturally better with people than I am. I'm more comfortable in the dirt than dealing with demanding customers. But that particular Saturday in June, she had caught a stomach bug and was home in bed. I had to work the stand alone, which already had me feeling anxious. The morning started well enough. Our strawberries were perfect that week, bright red and sweet from all the rain we'd gotten. I'd priced them at $8 per basket, which was fair considering they were certified organic, and we'd spent weeks babying those plants. Several regular customers stopped by early and bought multiple baskets without any complaints. Around 11 in the morning, things got busy. The Saturday crowd was in full swing, and I was juggling multiple customers when I noticed a woman standing at the edge of my stand. She was probably in her 40s, wearing expensive sunglasses and carrying a designer handbag that probably cost more than I made in a month. She stood there for a solid 5 minutes, picking up different baskets of strawberries and examining them like she was looking for diamonds. Finally, she approached me while I was helping another customer bag their tomatoes. "Karen, excuse me, I need to speak with the manager." "Me, that would be me. What can I help you with?" "Karen, these strawberry prices are absolutely ridiculous. $8 for a tiny basket?" "Me, they're organic strawberries, grown without any pesticides or chemicals. The price reflects the extra care and certification process." "Karen, healthy food should be accessible to everyone. You're basically stealing from families who just want to feed their children nutritious food." I could feel my patience starting to wear thin, but I tried to stay professional. "Me, I understand organic produce costs more, but we have regular strawberries at the stand next to us for less money if price is a concern." "Karen, no, I want these organic ones, but I shouldn't have to pay full price for them. Healthy food should practically be free." "Me, ma'am, this is how I make my living. I can't sell products for free." "Karen, then give them to me for half price. $4 is much more reasonable." "Me, I'm sorry, but the price is $8. That's already competitive for certified organic strawberries." Other customers were starting to stare at our conversation. I could see a line forming behind her, and I was losing sales while she argued about prices I couldn't change. "Karen, this is discrimination against health-conscious consumers. I have every right to affordable organic food." "Me, ma'am, nobody is discriminating against you. The prices are the same for everyone." "Karen, fine. If you won't be reasonable, I'll just take what I need." Before I could react, she grabbed 2 baskets of strawberries and started walking away. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. "Me, hey, you can't just take those." "Karen, watch me. Healthy food should be free, and I'm making a statement." I started to go around the table to stop her, but she was already several steps away from my stand. That's when I heard a familiar voice behind me. "Husband, is there a problem here?" I turned around to see my wife's husband approaching. He wasn't supposed to be here, but he must have finished his morning shift early. He was still in uniform, which made the situation even more perfect. "Me, this woman just stole 2 baskets of strawberries." My wife's husband looked at Karen, who had frozen in place when she saw the sheriff's uniform. "Husband, ma'am, I'm going to need you to return those strawberries and come have a conversation with me." "Karen, this is harassment. I'm being targeted for wanting healthy food for my family." "Husband, what I see is theft. You took merchandise without paying for it." "Karen, the prices are outrageous. Organic food should be affordable for everyone." "Husband, that doesn't give you the right to take someone else's property without paying." Karen reluctantly walked back toward us, still clutching the strawberry baskets like they were her lifeline. "Karen, you don't understand the principle here. These farmers are taking advantage of people who just want to eat healthy." "Husband, ma'am, turn around and put your hands behind your back." "Karen, you're arresting me over strawberries." "Husband, I'm arresting you for theft." The entire farmers market had basically stopped to watch the scene unfold. Other vendors were sticking their heads out of their booths, and customers were pulling out their phones to record everything. "Karen, this is ridiculous. I'm a tax-paying citizen. You can't arrest me for trying to feed my family healthy food." "Husband, I can, and I am arresting you for taking merchandise without paying for it, regardless of your reasoning." As he handcuffed her, she continued her rant about organic food rights and discrimination against health-conscious consumers. She demanded to speak to his supervisor, insisted she knew the mayor personally, and threatened to sue everyone involved. "Husband, You have the right to remain silent. I suggest you use it." The crowd that had gathered actually started clapping when he led her away from my stand. Several customers immediately came over to buy strawberries, saying they wanted to support small farmers who deal with difficult people. One elderly woman bought 4 baskets and told me she'd witnessed the whole thing. Customer, that woman has some nerve. These strawberries are beautiful, and your prices are perfectly fair. Another customer mentioned she'd seen the same woman arguing at 3 other stands about prices, always claiming that healthy food should be cheaper or free. My sales for the rest of the day were actually better than usual. Word spread quickly through the market about what had happened, and people kept stopping by to hear the story and buy something to show their support. Later that evening, my wife's husband told me that Karen had been charged with petty theft and disorderly conduct. Apparently, she continued lecturing everyone at the station about organic food rights until they processed her paperwork. The best part was finding out she drove to the farmer's market in a car that cost more than I made in 2 years, but couldn't afford to pay $8 for strawberries she claimed were essential for her family's health. Story 4. I work as a dental hygienist at a busy clinic downtown, and I've seen my fair share of difficult patients over the years. But nothing prepared me for what happened last Tuesday afternoon. I'm still shaking my head thinking about it. Our clinic operates on an appointment system like most dental offices. We had a full schedule that day, with patients booked solid from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'd been working there for 8 years, and we pride ourselves on running on time and treating everyone fairly, regardless of who they are. Around 2 p.m., I was cleaning instruments when I heard shouting from the reception area. Our receptionist was trying to explain something to a woman who was getting increasingly loud and aggressive. "Karen, I don't care about your stupid appointment system. My son needs to be seen immediately." Receptionist: "Ma'am, I understand you're concerned, but we have other patients ahead of you. Your appointment isn't until 4:30. "Karen, do you know who my son is? He's gifted. He's in the advanced program at school and has an IQ of 150. He shouldn't have to wait like these ordinary people." I walked out to see what was happening. There was this woman in expensive clothes pointing at her son, who looked maybe 10 years old and seemed mortified by his mother's behavior. The waiting room was full of patients who were all staring. Me, is there a problem here? Karen: "Yes, there's a huge problem. Your receptionist doesn't understand that my son requires priority treatment. He's intellectually superior to everyone else here, and his time is more valuable." The kid was pulling on his mom's sleeve, obviously embarrassed. "Son, Mom, please stop. I can wait." Karen: "No, honey, you don't wait for anyone. These people need to learn that exceptional children get exceptional treatment." I tried to explain that we see patients in order of their appointments unless there's a medical emergency. Karen's son had a routine cleaning scheduled, nothing urgent. Me: "Ma'am, your son's appointment is for a regular cleaning. Everyone here has been waiting patiently for their scheduled times." Karen: "I don't think you understand. My son is gifted. That means he's special. He shouldn't be sitting in a waiting room with random people. Where's the manager?" Our office manager came out, and Karen launched into the same speech about her son being gifted and deserving immediate attention. When the manager politely explained our policy, Karen completely lost it. "Karen, this is discrimination against gifted children. I'm going to report this place for not accommodating special needs." She then did something I've never seen in all my years working there. She pushed past the receptionist and marched straight into the treatment area, dragging her mortified son behind her. "Karen, we're going into that room right now, and someone is going to clean my son's teeth immediately." She barged into examination room 2, where our dentist was in the middle of treating another patient. The patient was reclined in the chair with a mouth full of dental equipment. Dentist: "Ma'am, you can't be in here. This is a sterile treatment area." Karen: "I don't care. My son is more important than whoever this is." In her aggressive push into the small room, she knocked into the rolling tray of instruments, The entire setup crashed to the floor, sending expensive dental tools flying everywhere. The digital X-ray sensor, which cost thousands of dollars, hit the ground hard and cracked. But she wasn't done. As she spun around to yell at the dentist, she bumped into the overhead light system, knocking it completely out of alignment. The adjustment mechanism made this horrible grinding sound as it broke. "Dentist, everyone stop. This woman needs to leave immediately." The patient in the chair was sitting up, completely shocked. The dentist had to stop the procedure entirely and ensure no contaminated instruments had been compromised. "Karen, don't you dare tell me to leave. I demand service right now." Office manager: "Ma'am, you've damaged our equipment and contaminated a sterile field. You need to leave the premises immediately, or I'm calling security." "Karen, you can't kick us out. We have an appointment. This is because you don't appreciate gifted children." Her son was crying at this point, apologizing to everyone and begging his mom to just leave. It was heartbreaking to watch. The office manager walked over and picked up the broken X-ray sensor and showed Karen the cracked screen. "Office manager, this sensor costs $4,000. The overhead light system you damaged is another $3,000. You've also forced us to re-sterilize this entire room and reschedule our patient." "Karen, that's not my fault. If you had just seen my son first like you should have, none of this would have happened." The dentist was documenting everything while our receptionist called security. Karen continued ranting about how the whole situation was everyone else's fault for not recognizing her son's superior status. Security arrived and escorted Karen and her son out, while she screamed about lawsuits and discrimination. The poor kid kept apologizing as they left. 2 days later, she received a bill for $7,200 in damages to equipment, plus the cost of re-sterilizing the room and rescheduling the disrupted patient. She called screaming about how she wasn't paying for anything. Our office manager calmly explained that we had security footage of everything and that the bill was perfectly legitimate. Karen threatened to sue, but our lawyer said she didn't have a leg to stand on. The really sad part was her son. He seemed like a perfectly normal, polite kid who was horrified by his mother's behavior. I hope he learned that being smart doesn't make you better than other people, and that entitled behavior only makes things worse for everyone. Story 5. I've been going to the same gym for about 2 years now. It's nothing fancy, just a basic chain fitness center with decent equipment and reasonable membership fees. I usually go after work around 6 in the evening, which is peak hours, but I've gotten used to the crowds. The gym has pretty standard rules. You have to be 18 or older to use the weight machines and free weights without supervision. Anyone under 18 needs a parent or guardian to sign a special waiver and stay with them during their workout. It's posted clearly on signs all over the place and explained during the membership sign-up process. Last Tuesday was supposed to be a normal workout day. I was about 20 minutes into my routine on the leg press when I noticed a commotion near the front desk. This woman I'd seen around before was arguing loudly with one of the staff members. She had a teenage girl with her who looked maybe 15 or 16. I'd seen this woman at the gym several times over the past few months. She had this habit of leaving her towels on multiple machines to reserve them, using her phone loudly during workouts, and generally acting like she owned the place. Other members had complained about her before, but nothing ever seemed to come of it. The staff member at the desk was this young guy, probably college-aged, who always tried to be helpful and polite to everyone. Staff member: "Ma'am, I understand you want your daughter to use the equipment, but she needs to fill out a minor waiver form first. It's for insurance purposes." Karen: "That's ridiculous. She's practically an adult. These forms are just bureaucratic nonsense." Staff member: "I'm sorry, but it's gym policy. All members under 18 need parental consent forms on file before using the weight equipment." Karen: "I'm her parent and I'm giving consent right now. That should be enough." The girl looked embarrassed and kept trying to pull on her mom's arm to get her to quiet down, but Karen just got louder. Karen: This is discrimination against young people who want to stay fit. You're denying her access to facilities we're paying for. Staff member, ma'am, we're not denying access. We just need the proper paperwork. It takes 5 minutes to fill out, and then she can work out with you supervising. Karen, I don't have time for paperwork. We're here to exercise, not fill out forms. By this point, several other gym members had stopped their workouts to watch what was happening. Karen noticed the attention and seemed to get even more worked up. Karen, this is fitness discrimination and it's illegal. You can't prevent someone from exercising based on their age. Staff member, it's not discrimination, it's a safety policy. I can get my manager if you'd like to speak with someone else. Karen, don't talk down to me. I know my rights. She then did something I couldn't believe. She walked over to the weight section and started setting up her daughter on one of the cable machines, completely ignoring the staff member who was trying to explain that they couldn't use the equipment without the waiver. Staff member, please stop. Your daughter cannot use that equipment without the proper forms. Karen, watch me. She positioned herself between the staff member and her daughter, literally blocking him from approaching the machine. Then she started yelling at other gym members who were trying to work out nearby. Karen, everyone needs to give us space. My daughter has just as much right to be here as anyone else. A guy who was waiting to use the cable machine spoke up. Gym member, lady, there are other people trying to work out here too. Karen, well, you'll have to wait. We're dealing with discrimination right now. She actually spread her arms out to block access to several machines, creating this bizarre standoff in the middle of the weight section. Her poor daughter looked like she wanted to disappear. The young staff member called for his manager, and within a few minutes, this older woman came out from the back office. She looked like she'd dealt with difficult customers before. Manager, ma'am, I'm going to need you to step away from the equipment and come speak with me at the desk. Karen, I'm not moving until you guarantee my daughter can use whatever equipment she wants without filling out discriminatory paperwork. Manager, the waiver isn't discriminatory. It's required by our insurance company for all minors. No exceptions. Karen, that's what you say, but I know fitness discrimination when I see it. The manager remained calm but firm. Manager, you have two choices. Fill out the waiver so your daughter can work out, or leave the premises. Blocking other members from using equipment is not acceptable. Karen, you can't make me leave. I pay for a membership here. Manager, actually, I can. And I'm also canceling your membership effective immediately for disrupting other members and refusing to follow gym policies. Karen's face turned bright red. Karen, you can't cancel my membership in the middle of a workout. Manager, I just did. Security is on their way to escort you out. Sure enough, 2 security guards showed up within minutes. Karen continued yelling about discrimination and illegal business practices as they walked her and her mortified daughter toward the exit. Karen, this is harassment. I'm calling my lawyer. You'll be hearing about this. The security guards remained professional, but made sure she kept moving toward the door. After they left, the gym felt noticeably more peaceful. The manager made an announcement apologizing to everyone for the disruption, and people went back to their workouts. I ended up having one of the best workout sessions I'd had in months, without someone loudly complaining or blocking equipment. Sometimes the trash really does take itself out.